So Brad, I'm gonna start you off with an easy question.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot about skills today. Tell me how your Photoshop skills are.
Well, you know, someone asked me backstage whether, and I don't know if it doesn't look like the headshot's still up there. People were giving me a hard time about my headshot and said, and I wasn't sure whether to be offended. It's like, are you saying I don't look like that headshot that was on the board? And apparently not. I guess I'm much uglier in person, so they thought it must have been Photoshop. But it's not true. I actually sent that picture to my mom, and she said I look perfect. So
You
I
haven't
don't
been
need
airbrushing
Photoshop.
that bad boy? No airbrushing skills going on?
No airbrushing, but if you'd like some help, I have fantastic Photoshop skills.
Awesome. Well, so what I want to start with here is this recent announcement of yours around the Experience Cloud, the Adobe Experience Cloud. This is all about creating amazing customer experiences. And I know it's been a labor of love for you. Can you just tell us quickly like what that's all about and what it's intended to create in the world?
Yeah, this is an interesting one for those of you in the room that are in the innovation business, which we all are. It was an interesting experience for me just to learn again that you can always learn something new. Mm-hmm. But just before that, really the Experience Cloud is targeted to. I believe that we as an industry are at the brink of the third massive transformation of enterprise technology. So whether you're in public sector and government, financial services, retailing, we're at this third big transformation. The first two are ones that we know and we actually almost dismiss a little bit today. And you know, the first started 50 years ago. You think about we went from paper-based processes to digital processes.
Yeah.
We used to have inboxes and outboxes of paper on our machine, and our desks. Now ERP systems kind of took that over, created a huge, massive $50 billion industry, and changed the way companies work. And then 20 years ago, the customer conversation started to change. If you remember, we all used to keep a Rolodex on our desks. We don't do that anymore. There are systems that keep track of our customers. As we sit here today, we believe, at Adobe, I believe, that we're at the third big transformation, and that is around the fundamental way that all of us will compete in the market is based on the efficacy of our customer experience.
Yeah.
And it's not just one time I have a great interaction. My expectations of Pluralsight today as a customer is every time I interact with you, you have context for who I am, you give me what I want, and it's a seamless, enjoyable experience. If you don't do that, I move on to the next opportunities for someone who's gonna give me a great experience. It's how we compete.
Yeah.
And for us, we had been in the digital marketing kind of business for a while, and we've been helping people with their websites and everything else, and we thought we were best in the world at that. Mm-hmm. But our customers started to use this. This is where the co-innovation and co-creation really took place. We had customers like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola had a problem to where they don't know who their customers are. Like we all drink Coke, Diet Coke, whatever your drink of choice is, but they were stuck behind distribution. And if you've seen these new machines that Coke has, they're called freestyle machines. The freestyle machine is essentially a connected device. They said, someone at Coca-Cola said, that's kind of like a website in a machine.
Yeah.
And I was at Coca-Cola headquarters and they said, Brad, we're using your technologies to drive our experiences in the freestyle machine, just like we do on the website. I'm like,
wow.
What? How'd you do that? I didn't even know you could do that. And so I started to think, it's not about marketing anymore, it really is about experience. Disney was another, they're an innovator in customer experience. But they took our technology, and if you've ever been to Disney World and you've got the Magic Band now, it's actually the best and the worst thing because for parents, it now gives the credit card that you have on your kid's wrist. And they're like, yeah, I'd like that, swipe. And they get everything that they want. But it also gives Disney incredible information about what their customers are doing. And you take the pathing. I have my RFID band and I walk around the thing, they track that, and then they have a visualization that shows where everyone is in the park. You know what that looks like if you squint and sit back a little bit? It looks kind of like a website.
Yeah.
Disney was like, we're gonna apply those principles to our analog customer experience of you riding a ride. So we had to react to where our customers were to introduce this Experience Cloud because our technology was being used by our customers in unintended ways. And that really is what it's about, is every organization in the world now has to compete based on their customer experience.
I love it. It's such an incredible vision. And Here at Pluralsight, we firmly believe in it. You'll have noticed that Nate Walkingshaw's title here is Chief Experience Officer. Not too many companies have a title like that, but we really believe that, his responsibility as the leader of all the things our company produces is the overall experience as created by product, our content, and our engineering teams that all feed into that ultimate experience that the customers see. We've had to have a bit of a cultural shift around that to sort of create that outcome. It wasn't just the technologies, it was also sort of this, and I'm guessing with some of these customers you're referring to, there are two things at play. There's this cultural shift of like understanding the new priority around the experience, and then the skills you need to be able to go create it. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, first, if I can get the title of Chief Experience Officer, can I wear shorts on stage? If the answer is yes, that's now my new career objective.
He's the only one that got the short pass.
I love it. I love it. He rocked it and did very well. It is, so the challenge is we pivoted to this broader strategy. I had two challenges. I've got thousands of engineers that work in my organization. And overnight, it was about a year ago, overnight I had to move 25% of my engineering resources and say, you're no longer gonna work on this, you're now working to develop a new data platform, to take all this customer data that we're getting and to build that. And many of them looked me in the eye and said, Brad, I don't know how to do that. And that's pretty humbling for a developer to basically say, look, I would love to do that, I don't have to do that. So I had a choice. I either had to basically jettison 25% of my team who've invested and believed deeply in the mission of Adobe, or I have to give them the skills. You think about what's happening in machine learning with Spark ML, and you have HBase, Cassandra from a storage standpoint. These were tools, methodologies, architectures that my team, we didn't have enough of. And so that was the first skills gap I had to deal with internally, and I'm still dealing with it. Mm-hmm. And which comes back to we'll talk a minute about the partnership. I wish at that time I would have known Iris, because Iris could have helped me actually understand where my gaps were. We were kind of blunt forcing it, trying to go through at the time. Yeah. Because you start to think about the power of what you announced today, Aaron, with the role IQ and the skills IQ. Giving someone a path, it's empowering. Yeah. And Benjamin Franklin's got a great quote that I think is great for business leaders to think about. And he said, education, an investment in education provides the best return of all. Yeah. And we've tried to embody that at Adobe as we've been trying to reskill our own team. Second part that I had is the most common thing I get back from customers is, Brad, I don't have enough skills of people who can use Adobe technology in order to provide these experiences that my customers expect. Delta Airlines, it's like, I don't have people who have the skills to be able to provide a personalized website, a personalized kiosk, and to be able to drive a script to the gate agent when someone's checking in so that there's a continuity of this experience. Yeah. I don't have those skills. How do I get more of those? And so I've got a massive skills gap in my ecosystem that we need to close. Yeah, so you've got this skills gap within your own company, within the groups that are attacking this problem to build this new product that you've released called the Experience Cloud, and you've got the skills gap within your customer base and the broader professional ecosystem of those people who want to go work on these projects. Do you see examples of people who want to see the business opportunity around the Experience Cloud but don't have the skills to get there, and how do we actually help them get there? There's another great quote that says, vision without execution is hallucination. and candidly, a lot of customers have fantastic vision. Their strategy is spot on. Yeah. But their ability to execute on that is lacking because they just don't have the skills of their team, which is what I think you get to the core mission of what Nate showed from stage today, what you announced this morning. I think there's real power in that. So how would you see Adobe, let's talk about our partnership a bit. How would Adobe as a technology vendor, one of the biggest in the world, attack building this tech ecosystem you need for the Experience Cloud and other new technologies you may release in the future? Well, I think it really comes down to the expectations that our customers have of us is that we're going to arm them with what they need to be successful.
Yeah.
And right now, we're doing a great job of providing software. We're not doing a great job of providing the enabling ecosystem around that. And so the big thing from a partnership standpoint that we're really looking at is how do we create, there's the skills required, and how do you match that with the skills that have been acquired? Mm-hmm. And that's what I really think the announcement that you made today with Pluralsight IQ, I see that could be an opportunity for us to say, okay, there's demand and there's supply. What's the matching principle with the Rosetta Stone of what's going to happen in the industry? Yeah. I think that's something that's very interesting to me, to where that's what I don't have in the industry is, in my ecosystem, is the Rosetta Stone to say, here's a skill, here's a need, how do we match those two things together?
Yeah, it's awesome. And I know that our teams have worked on some content specifically for the digital marketing cloud and the digital marketing business. How do you see those having an impact in your ecosystem today?
Well, I think that the courses that that we're live on the platform, I think are the foundational courses. Mm-hmm. And I think that those are helping us build, I think, those foundational skills that are out there. And I think the Pluralsight platform, because totally agree, I've got trainers flying all over the world doing classroom training. Is that the highest and best use of some of my best talent? You're telling me, based on your keynote this morning, the answer is no. Definitively no, is what I heard. And so for us, investing in a platform like the Pluralsight platform to be able to deliver that in a compelling way, I think could be a very disruptive change for us and for our thousands and thousands of enterprise customers that are struggling with this need to provide a better customer experience.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Look, we at Pluralsight have just been so grateful for Adobe and their presence here in the Utah tech ecosystem as part of Silicon Slopes. You guys have created so many amazing things here and really sort of paved the way forward for companies like Pluralsight. So I want to express my gratitude to you for that. Brad was one of the early pioneers at Omniture, which was the company that Adobe acquired, which was one of the first web analytics companies that came after the page counters. Remember the counters on the page? That was the first step beyond that. And Omniture into Adobe, it's just come so far. And then to see how massive this business is today through your leadership just says a lot about you as a SaaS pioneer. So before I let you off the stage, and we're about out of time, there's a lot of SaaS companies here in Silicon Slopes. We just have an amazing community of tech companies. What advice or counsel would you have to share with this group out here?
I think and this is really for anyone who's, no matter what size business that you're in, is give yourself room to dream. I believe in the why not us philosophy. Why is it that we as humans, we always believe that someone else is smarter, better, faster, and they're going to do it? Yeah. I think that many times I meet with entrepreneurs, founders, even divisions, teams, organizations that don't give themselves room to dream and to say, well, why shouldn't we do this? Why not us?
Well, you guys have certainly done that. It's just been an incredible thing to watch. And I heard you just announced your second big building here in Utah at your campus, which is going to employ how many more people here in the state?
Well, about 1,300 more people here in the state.
1,300 more people. It's crazy, man. Congrats on the success. Everyone, please give it up for Brad Rencher.
Thank you.